Hey, I'm Helene.
And I'm Penelope.
And we're a mother-daughter duo here stepping it up.
Empowering the overweight to overcome.
Because we are.
Every day.
Working step by step, empowering ourselves to overcome a multi-generational eating disorder. Maybe not my grandmother, but definitely my mother. And one of the reasons that we're doing this podcast is because we believe so fully in the power of healing this compulsion. You know, Penelope never got to know your grandmother. It pains my heart because my mom was like such an extraordinary woman. But she was like yo-yo dieting her whole life. My first Weight Watchers meeting was at age 5. And Mom died of severe obesity. That was one of her causes of death. And it's really our mission and purpose to help people heal. Like we're helping ourselves to heal. So we wanted to share these things with you. And that's one of the main reasons we're doing any of this, that we're spending our time doing it. I wanted to talk a little bit about death because it's quite real.
It is.
It's not something that we like to think about or talk about. Actually, we want to avoid it because it's almost too painful to deal with. Mm-hmm. My mom died at 59, and the 12-step program was literally on the kitchen table. And I remember when you were really struggling, I was saying to you that, why don't you do Overeaters Anonymous? And you were really like, shut up.
I was angry at you. I remember that day. And I was super angry, and then I was like, secretly, I was like, let me look into this. Like, what is this thing that she's talking about? And I looked into it, and, I did do it, actually. So, I did do it. But, it was an interesting system, and no hate to anyone that's done it before, but I tried it, and it was okay. Like, I did lose a little bit of weight doing it, but it didn't, stay off, and it didn't really solve the long-term problem, which I thought was interesting because it was supposed to. And one of the things at the end of the program is, you have to teach other people and be, their, what do you call it?
It's like a sponsor?
You have to be their sponsor forever. And I get the psychology behind it. I understand why they're doing that, so that you really stay to the system as well and just keep inspired and motivated. But I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm running 3 companies. I don't have time to talk through people, talk to people all day long. And I just don't, and that's just me personally. No shade again, but
your experience was really different than the one that my mom did. I mean, I literally went to meetings with her and waited for her, and you had to go physically at that time 3 times a week. Now you can do it online, which is great. You actually started doing it during COVID.
Yeah.
I remember. And I just remember you walking in the kitchen and you were like, oh, this is brilliant. This whole higher power thing is really smart. And I think it might have been the first time you correlated the surrender or something. I don't know, what was that about? I didn't get into it with you because I didn't want to meddle, but I was so curious, but I was like, no, I'm not going to meddle.
It was amazing, yeah. It was about surrendering all thoughts, judgments, and opinions about myself around food to basically God or a higher power. And whatever that is, just surrendering any negative thoughts even about self, confidence-wise, just giving it up. And then the biggest thing was doing the next right thing. That was the biggest pillar of the whole thing, doing the next right thing. And I will still sometimes today think about, what's the next right thing to do? Because they never promoted, the next right thing is to eat a cheeseburger. That is not what they were saying. They were saying the next right thing to do, if you feel physically hungry or are you mentally hungry, there's a difference. And so just really tune into the next right thing and really trust God, trusting the higher power and giving it to them, surrendering. So that's what they mean by surrender. And that's the pillar of it.
Yeah, and I think that was a really pivotal point, though. Even if you didn't stick with Overeaters Anonymous, I think when my mom did it, it was called FA, Food Addicts Anonymous.
Oh.
And so, I mean, it really, I don't know, it's been 17, almost 18 years since she died. It'll be 18 years, I guess, next month. And she didn't get to see you walk. She didn't get to, hear your first words.
Yeah.
She would have spoiled you rotten. But she died really, really young.
I know.
And, the complications of obesity are so real. And the healing of obesity, I don't even like to call it that, but like to heal yourself forever is about this freedom. And yes, surrender is a big part of it, and stepping it up, like what is the next best thing? And I can't deny the fact that Overeaters Anonymous isn't a huge part of my upbringing, and
Yeah.
was a huge part of my mom's life. And she was, she died, several hundred pounds overweight. But I understand what it's like firsthand to, to be in all of these diet programs and to struggle and to, and to have that emotional roller coaster and to want things and crave things and feel like you're just going crazy and to have your body start to disintegrate. Like, I really get it firsthand. And it's the reason why we're doing this is because of the pain and suffering that we know is not necessary, but it's the greatest teacher.
It is.
And if we can look at it that way, and it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, it's a way of being, it's so much bigger, and we actually need each other. And I think that's why Overeaters Anonymous is so interesting, because you have this model where you have support. You have a buddy or your sponsor. You have the meetings, you got to show up. You got to be accountable. And I just don't think we're meant to do this thing alone.
No.
I don't think you can lose weight alone.
No.
And that was the hardest thing for me, because like you didn't want my help, and I'm so well equipped to help you.
So well equipped.
It's like I was like, she won't eat my food, and then she's like buying the junk food, and am I enabling? And it's like it's so complicated for this mother-daughter thing.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, like you needed partnership. Your therapist was like unqualified.
Super unqualified. Your
DBT group was not helpful.
Providing sugar.
Oh yeah, right. Gotta love the snacks. So I mean, like, so you were your own support. I think Overeaters Anonymous provided like one step on the path.
I think trying everything too, it was good that I tried every diet on the planet, basically, because it taught me, like, look, the answer is within you, not it. And you need to step it up if you want to move on in life and move forward and not let this food thing dangle in front of your face, because that's not really a long-term solution.
Well, it takes so much energy. It takes so much thought, like cycles. It takes so much from us to keep like in this loop of, I didn't do it well enough. I ate the wrong thing. And it just sucks all the joy out of it.
All of it.
And that's why we're like, no. You gotta have fun. It has to be abundant.
Delicious.
Yeah, it has to be like ultra healthy and like exquisite.
Yeah.
Like all the time. But we also need each other. And I think now, like, even like sometimes I pinch myself. I'm like, is this really happening? Because we eat together now. And that was a big breakthrough for us, just eating together.
Yeah, I used to eat in my room, or I'd eat on the couch. I never wanted to eat at the table, ever. And now I only eat at the table. I refuse to eat in my room, but I used to eat in my bed, and I would hide food there.
Yeah.
And stuff it in my face.
And it's not like being obese is gonna kill you from today or tomorrow. It's gonna eventually
It's a
kill
slow,
you.
painful death.
Right.
Probably one of the most slowest, painful deaths ever. Because I even remember when I was 300 pounds, I literally could not walk up the hill. I had a school that had thousands of stairs, literally. And I couldn't go up those. I had to stop at each plateau and take a few deep breaths. And I just couldn't fully go. And then when I got to the top, I was like, I couldn't breathe. So I needed another extra 5 to 15 minutes just to catch my breath again, because I was so sick, physically sick.
Yeah.
Physically. And it was terrible. I remember I couldn't sleep. I was, and then when I did sleep, I'd sleep for 12 hours. It was horrendous. Getting up out of my bed was like a workout. And life isn't supposed to be that way. And when you look back in the day, like in the 1900s, it wasn't like that. People weren't big. Apparently, you had to find photos of fat people in order to get big. I saw that on Twitter.
Maybe they hid. I don't know. I mean, the idea of excess is perhaps different. I don't actually know. But I just know that I grew up with my mom being obese. My grandmother, her mother, was not. She was very healthy and fit and beautiful. And, my mother, I don't know. Maybe she got depressed, or I don't know what it is. But I know that it's real, and they're calling it now an epidemic. And it does lead to death. And I don't want that for anybody else. And I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to help as many people as I can, because by the time I got the skills that I have now to help her, it was too late. We'd already lost her.
Yeah.
And so this program is so near and dear to our hearts, because we want you to have the health that freedom, and we want you to have the freedom that health affords you.
And we've been through it, right? Like, you used to be overweight when you were little.
Yeah. Well, I've struggled with weight my whole life.
Your whole life.
It's like I feel like if I looked at a bagel, I would just gain weight.
I'm sure you guys know how that feels.
And the torture and whatnot. Anyway, so I feel like, just like any addiction, you never really overcome it.
No.
It's like you just have to learn how to shift your relationship with it, whether it's an addiction or a compulsion. And so we just care so much. So if you're interested in getting on the wait list for the program, we're going to launch the beta this summer. Definitely reach out to us. Leave your email in the comments. Direct message us with your email, and we'll be sure to get you the information.
Yes, we will. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.